men who got their act together, they're not looking for women for any kind of resources whatsoever. Case in point, I want you to hear what this woman has to say, and let's go ahead on and get into that conversation.
Let me tell you something. A man will literally marry a woman who works at McDonald's. Like, they do not care about your money. If they are not users, they do not care about your money. They don't care about your accolades. They don't care how many degrees you got. They literally don't. They literally don't. And, actually men love those types of women because women who lead with those things, they have a desperate mindset. They have a mindset that it's kind of like you're in a way, you're inadvertently saying that I'm better because I have these things. And the audience that you're trying to pitch for does not care about those things. So you showing up to a man saying, oh, I have this degree, I have this job, I have this career. Those men are just thinking like, I really don't care what you have. Yeah, they're going to take it in and they're going to say, okay, blah, 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 blah. But they really don't care about it because most times those types of women, and nobody don't take this the wrong way, most times those types of women, they do have a masculine mindset. They have like this boss bee mindset. And most times those women, they are very, very, very insecure. Like, they are very insecure. And it's kind of like, because they have risen so high in their career, those women will outwardly confident, but they're inwardly insecure, and men can pick up on that.
Men traditionally are never looking to women to see what kind of degree they have, what kind of job they have, where do they live, what investments they may have. Men don't look for women for that. Traditionally, men, when they look for a woman, they say, okay, I want a woman who's going to be the love of my life, be my wife, be the mother of my children. And as a man, I need to provide, and I need to be there, and I need to protect my wife. I need to protect my children. That's what men do. So when she was mentioning about girls that work at the McDonald's or places like that, I told y'all a long time ago, a man can see a woman at Applebee's be a waitress, okay, making $2.14 an hour, and get with her and marry her. He doesn't care about her resources. A real man don't look to women for resources. Now, a man that let's say, has elevated himself a little bit may say, well, I don't want a woman with a jacked up resources either. What I mean by that is, I don't want her with horrible spending habits. I don't want her to have a horrible credit score, $100,000, $200,000 in debt. I don't want any of that either, because that's going to translate into, when you get with her, or you're going to have probably a back and forth fight with her financially because of how she just moved on her own. You know what I'm saying? Like, men aren't impressed if a woman go get a G-Wagon. I'm like, okay. And usually a lot of times men are turned off by those women, because those women have to kind of step into masculinity to even get to that level. That's why you have women like that. They very career oriented and they making some money. But a lot of times, for a man to take them seriously, and what I mean by take you seriously, I'm not saying a guy jumping in your DM. That's not taking you seriously. A guy going to bed with you, that's not taking you seriously. I'm talking about a man saying, I want to marry this woman or whatever. I want this woman to be my wife. How many marriage proposals have you had? You understand? And if you're constantly turning down marriage proposals, then understand they won't come too soon. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are plenty of women say, yeah, I've been asked to be married a couple of times. And they're like, okay, you're not married? No, but I wish I was, sort of thing. But men aren't impressed by your resources. They're not impressed by your degrees, just not impressed by that. Because that's not what men are here to do. Men are supposed to provide. Men are supposed to take the lead in the household. So men aren't looking for women for any of that. That's why, if you notice, the ones who be winning, it's the ones that don't even have any of that. The ones that have certain looks and all of that, how certain ones come across with men. That's really who win at the end of the day. I even put this just to do some research on it. I put this in the chat GPT, and I asked her that question: what woman would be best for a man? A woman that works at Family Dollar, or a woman who is an attorney? And why? Based on relationship dynamics. You know what ChatGPT said? Family Dollar. You know why? It said Family Dollar because she would be more appreciative of that man coming in her life, she would fall more into maybe possible traditional roles, and she could definitely grow with that man versus a woman who is, let's say, an attorney, makes a lot of money, right? Not to say she's not a good person. That's nothing about her being a bad person. That's not it. We're talking about probability. It said divorce rates with high income earner women are extremely high, right? If they have a college degree, it's much higher. Because they've made a certain amounts of money, most of them think, well, if they make a $200K a year, my man got to make $200K a year. And that's not the average for men in this country, no matter the race. And that's not the average for women in this country either, no matter the race. So when you're a high income earner and expecting them to meet a man that's making $200K or more a year, good luck with that. And you to those men, either they're married, a lot of them married, or if they're not married, they got a gang of women and they're not trying to settle down. That's really what you get with those kind of higher income earner men. It's either or. They married or they got a bunch of women. And so because of that reason, he had labeled those women that work at the Family Dollar more the speed of most men, or the girl who works at Walmart. It's not about if she's a good person or a bad person. You can have a girl who's a doctor, be the greatest lady in the world, but everything she went through to get to become a doctor, and she feels that she deserves a certain, lifestyle and things like that. And I would never talk down on anybody who feel that their lifestyle should be a certain way, because you have every right to feel how your lifestyle should be. I am not a person to tell you to lower your lifestyle. Live it the way you want to live, sis. I am not here to do that. What I'm just saying in general is that most men don't make what a doctor makes unless he's a doctor himself. And then not all doctors are created equal either, because your regular family doctor don't make what a specialty doctor makes, right? A nurse don't make what a nurse practitioner makes. So it's none of it's created equal. None of it is. Certain type of lawyers don't make money that versus other ones do. So it's never all created equal. But the thing is, men aren't there to chase your resources. And if you do have a man that's like, ooh, she got this job, ooh, she drives this kind of car, whatever, I'm like, you're dealing with a bum that want to leech off of you. And if you cool with a bum, I mean, that's okay. I mean, who are we to tell you not to be with a bummy dude? But the average man isn't looking for a high income earner woman. He's looking for a woman that he can vibe with. Now, if he meets you out and he don't know what you do and y'all just hit it off, and then, but you are humble, you down to earth, you no different than that girl, let's say at the Family Dollar, the girl that live in the neighborhood, she don't live in the suburbs. She's in the black community. If you just as much as the same as that girl, then y'all can hit it off. But a man isn't looking for your resources. Neither are men impressed by them either. Because at this point, men understand, okay, you got a G-Wagon. So how much they getting out of you for that payment? I know you're not paying $200 a month for that. So how much you paying? $1,200, $1,300? What you paying?
Just my finances.
Like we just no, we're not impressed. We're just not impressed. What's more impressive is you as a person. That's impressive, not what you have. See, men are judged on provision. Women aren't judged on that. They judge on their beauty, their character, different things like that, at least in the eyes of men, of course. Men going to judge women's bodies. That's just what men do. If they straight, they will. But never throw your compliments in a man's face. That's going to go like a water off a duck's back. He is not impressed.